So I'm going to do something real quick. I need to get a couple of things set up real fast. We'll walk through exactly what it is that we're going to be looking at. I want to make sure that everybody's tracking. So if you want to grab your 1964 Denver quarters, grab a loop, make sure that you have a loop with you. It's going to be extremely important to be able to do that if you're going to try and identify whether or not you have one of these. And then what we will do is we will go through and I'll show you exactly what to look for. I'll show you what the type 1 is. I'll show you what the type 2 is. And then I'll explain to you a little bit of the difference in the FS901 and why people get that confused with the type B reverse. Okay. What's up, Stack Ann? Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in and hanging out. So we're going to look at a couple different things. Again, it's just one of those. Neil, what's going on? T-Bird, how you doing? Thank you for being here. I'm going to finish getting set up. I have a couple things that I want to do. Now, this was done by request. So the information that I'm going to be giving you was actually something that was requested. They were like, Frosty, can you walk through these elements? Can you help me understand? So as I'm doing a coin roll hunt, I can identify the 1964s. I've got tubes of these, and I don't exactly know what I'm looking for. Can you do this? They're channel members, and so I'm like, you know what? Absolutely. And instead of doing this, I'll just go live. We'll walk you through it. Hey, Frank, what's going on, bud? Good to see you. And we're only going to look at 2 coins. It's going to be really simple. So if you have a loop handy, if you have a couple 1964 Denver-based quarters, then go ahead, grab them. I will be showing you the resources. We'll go through this real slow. For those of you who are familiar with looking at this, it's probably going to be extremely slow for you. But if I was to fly through it, it wouldn't be very educational. It would just be a demonstration. I want people to understand exactly what to look for when they're looking at this. So we will walk through these elements and make sure you guys are tracking. All right, and Marsh, bird is the word. What's going on? Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. Again, make sure you guys are smashing those likes, and we'll get on this real quick. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move these 2 coins. Again, the coins I'm looking for are in flips already. Now, one is the coin in question. It's the one we're going to be talking about. And then the other one is just a regular 1964. So I'm going to be comparing these, but I'm not just going to be comparing these. This isn't just, oh, look at the differences between these 2. I'm actually going to be walking through something that should help you. And what am I going to be walking through? Well, I'm going to be walking through Variety Vista. Now, on Variety Vista, if you're on that, it's varietyvista.com. Not a sponsor of the page, but utilize them quite frequently. It's something that if you're going to be looking at errors and varieties, you definitely want to be looking at multiple resources. For the purposes of tonight, I'm only going to show you the one because you really only need this to be able to identify these. And in order to get there, what you're going to do is you're going to scroll on down a little bit. Now, there's more to this if you're in vertical or horizontal mode. There's more to the right side of the page, but it doesn't matter because what I'm looking for is the Washington quarters. Now, this is 1945 to 1998. This is the range in which we're going to be looking for. And because that's the range we're looking for, we will click on this particular item. Unfortunately, I think the battery in my mouse is dying, so I might need to get I might need to get another battery. Let's see if I can. Oh man, why does it always have to happen when you're going live, right? Nope, it appears that I need to get a new battery. All right, folks, I got to step away for just a second, grab a new battery. Going curious, what's going on? Give me just a second. Let me get this set up, and I apologize I think I have a battery right here on the corner, so just a second. All right, let's try this. I apologize about that. Oh, it's amazing how quickly things can go wrong. Let's see here. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. All right, let's go. Come on, connect me, connect me. Let's get my mouse working. All right, well, hopefully it's going to connect. Let me try another battery. I'm wondering if my son has used all of these batteries in his Xbox controller. There we go. Now we got it back. It's right here. We're good to go. Okay, good. I found one that has a charge to it. Outstanding. I'll bet you anything that he used like these in the Xbox controller. All right, so what are we looking for here? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be looking at design varieties. So if you come over here, you're going to see these design varieties. And you want to look at the obverse, the front. You'll see that 1932, 1934, there is a difference in those 34, 35. The ones that we are looking at should have this obverse. So 19, or excuse me, let me get down a little bit farther. I was looking at the wrong date. Should have this reverse right here, 1964. Now, why is that important? Well, if you look at this picture right here, okay, this is the picture, you're going to see that In God We Trust has a lot of die wear. There's actually a lot of area here, especially if you look at the U. You can see that the inside of the U, you can see underneath the G. There's definite some die wear here. This is not a double die. This is actually die wear, so this is a pretty good idea. And this is actually called the obverse design variety. And so, or the obverse design variation. So ODV, that's what you're looking at when you see this ODV, and that will kind of help you understand what you're looking at. Now, we only have one, so there's nothing else that we need to do. So we need to go back to this, and we are looking specifically at the reverse of the coin today. There's nothing that we need to look at the front of the coin for, except just to make sure that we are looking at the right element. All right, so if everybody has their loops, then what we can do is we can go through. If you guys have 1964 Denvers, grab them. We're going to be walking through this. Like, I really want you all to be able to look at one and say, oh, this is type 1. Oh, this is type 2. Okay, so I'm really serious about this. I want you guys to grab those 1964 quarters, grab your loop. And if you don't have one, then you can't be doing coin searches, right? So get yourself a loop. And I'll put, if you need a link, I can give you a link to an Amazon thing. Get these for just a few bucks. They have them with lights on them. If you want to do them with lights on them, you can do that too. I have a lamp right here. If I move this, you'll see that I get all shiny. Try it underneath me. It helps me identify the coin. It also helps me to focus my light on the coin so that I get a very specific view. And you'll see that when we look at the coin. All right, so what are we looking at first? Well, the first thing that we are looking at is we are looking at, hey, Ground Fog, what's going on? Good to see you. Hey, Michael and Nancy, how are you? First thing we're going to be looking at is over here. So we're going to be looking at the S. Now, I want you to look at how close these two are together. Okay, I really want you to look at that, kind of focus in on that, because this is something that is going to be one of the deciding factors when we're looking at the United States. You can see I'm preparing this, I'm getting this ready to show you, and we'll be able to talk about the obverse 1 versus the obverse 2. Okay. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to go down here and we're going to look at the A. We're going to look at that leaf. We're going to look at that A, and we're going to see if there's separation between here or if they connect. Okay, so this is what we're going to be looking for. They stand out really clear. When you see it, you'll know it. But there's a couple of things that you should also be looking for. But I also want to show you, when you're looking at this, that there's some things that you might think are doubles. You might be like, oh, I found a double die. I want you to see the die states in some of these so you can actually see what they look at. And I want you to look at the inside of the A. You can see that the top of the L, the corner of the R, the top of the R. You can see there's a lot of die wear on this particular die. We've seen the same thing on the front or the obverse of this coin. We're seeing it on the back or the reverse on the coin as well. So this particular set probably had some fairly older dies or overly used dies. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking for. We'll be bouncing back and forth between the screen and this. So let's kill the screen capture and let's just look at the S in states. Okay, now I am looking with the light on my coin scope. Now I can turn the light on my coin scope off if I want to do that. And I have an additional lamp here. And this lamp is something that I can pull across and I can shift the light accordingly. But for the purposes of this, I'm not looking at something really, really overly shiny. These are older coins. They are not proofs. They are not high mint state. So I don't have to worry about that, but you're going to get reflection off of the lens. Just be aware of that, okay? So what we're looking at here is the first. So I want you to look at that S and the E. Now let's go ahead and pull up that display capture. Again, I want you to look at the S and the E. Now I'm going to give it here just a few seconds. I want you, if you have your loops and you're looking at the coin, I want you to look and see, do you have a small gap? Is there a little gap here? Is this something that it's very distinct? If it's not, if it doesn't look like this gap, is it a little bit wider? And if it's a little bit wider, we'll walk through the S on United States. It's the last ES in states, okay? So if you're trying to identify exactly where we're at, let's get back to the coin scope. And we're looking at states. You'll see states, and we're looking at the very last ES, okay? So we see the very last ES. Now, there is another difference. We're going to show you that here in just a second. But again, after I show you something, I want to give you a few seconds, if you're looking at coins, to be able to spot it. Give me a thumbs up, give me the hand, hold on, and then we'll kind of track and monitor that accordingly, okay? So when I look at this particular one, I go back here, I look at Variety Vista, I see this. I'm actually going to do something really quick to make it more conducive to the folks that are seeing this online. So we're only looking at this one particular point. So I'm going to shift this just a hair upwards so that you can see this. Zoom in just a bit. And now you can see really, really clearly what we're looking at on this coin, okay? So you can see that very clearly. Now we get back to the United States, we pull that back off, we look at this, and you can clearly see, yes, this is a type 1 that matches. So now, because this matches, we need to verify that that other thing that I showed you in the A, I need to make sure that the A matches. So we'll go look at the A, we'll get back over here to Variety Vista, we'll scroll down, we'll look at that, and you can see that there is a distinct gap. Now in this picture, there's a little hit that the coin hit. This is not a part of the coin. This is not something that you're looking for in the design variety. This is just something that happened in the normal circulation of this coin. But you can see there's a pretty distinctive gap between the two. Now I want you to look at the design of the leaf. It's actually here. It doesn't actually come down by the A. When I show you the other one, you'll see exactly what I'm referencing, but otherwise it's here. Now, with that being said, there can be die breaks that happen here. This is why you need to be familiar with the next set of photos I'm going to show you. Okay, so we look at this coin, and yes, we can see that there is that distinct gap in between them. So this coin that I'm looking at right here, so this coin right here is a type 1 reverse, okay, or a type A reverse, depending upon who you're talking about. Type A, type B, doesn't matter. That is a type A. Now, I want to come over here, and again, this is the B reverse, okay, it's listed as such. 1964, I want to make sure that I'm looking at the same type of coin, so I need to make sure that it is a Denver. This is not a Denver, okay, so this is important. I'm not looking at the same coin. Okay, is that a problem? Well, not really. So what do I mean by not really? Well, if I look at this area over here on the right, I'm just going to manually move this so that you guys can see this better. Okay, if you look over here and you see this gap or this thing down here, right, you'll see that this is the reverse for 1964. Now, it's not the 1964D. This reverse is for the 1964D for both Philadelphia and Denver, okay? It's not for Denver in this particular one, okay? So I'm looking at a type B reverse. If I were looking at a Denver coin, it shouldn't have the type B because the type B is only for the 1964 Philadelphia. Is there anybody in chat that doesn't get that? Is there anybody who isn't understanding that point? Because if you don't, I want to walk through that one more time to make sure everybody understands that. Okay, you will not find this type of reverse in a 1964D because it's not listed. Okay, there's nothing in that Denver column. Again, if I scroll up, I'll see that that second column is Denver. The right side to that is San Francisco. If I scroll down, those two columns are blank. So you're not going to find this reverse on anything but the Denver. Or anything but the Philadelphia. Sorry, that was my bad. Anything but the Philadelphia. So when I come back here and I look at my coin, and I'm going to come over here to this, I'm going to see that that A, you can see that A pretty clearly there. Okay, get that light away from it. You can see that A pretty clearly there. And that A very distinctly matches the A on this picture. I'm going to just go ahead and slide that back over. Now, when you look at the other one, you'll see here, hopefully you guys can see where my mouse is. You can see there's this little piece right here. Looks like that little piece broke off. Now, this isn't a die break. This isn't a die crack. And you want to be careful to watch that design variety. If that leaf ends up here, but it still connects, it could just be a die break between the two. So you can't just look at this. We also have to scroll back up and look at the ES. Remember when I talked about the ES, we have to make sure we look, we need to make sure we look at that other component of this. Okay, and that is looking at that ES. That ES is the definitive factor. It's the one that's going to really tell us whether or not we have the right one. Now, you can see in this particular case, if we go to the first one, how close they are together, right? So we're looking for something that is going to appear a little bit further apart. Okay, so let's go back and look at the coin. How we look at the coin, again, we have the 64. I'll flip that back over. We're looking at the states down at the bottom. You've got that A there, okay? But if we come back up here to states, you're going to see that I have that gap, and you're going to see that the S is more cut off, right? And so if you have them cut off, then you know that you have the type B. Now again, if this is a coin that has a Denver mint mark, it won't be the type B. If you have something like this, then reach out to your coin shop. You know, you can send it in for authentication, but they didn't make that reverse for Denver. They didn't put the mint mark on that particular die, so you won't have that particular coin. What's going on, Bert? How you doing? Why did they not use the same dye? D-I-E, not D-Y-E. D-Y-E is color. D-I-E is the actual device. Why did they not use the same ones? Well, there's a couple different reasons. They might have been shifting to test or to overcome an issue that was happening with a particular die pair. We've seen this with the Cheerios dollar, the cross-hatching pattern. The reason that cross-hatching pattern was so limited was because it caused the die to be weak in that area, and the die frequently broke. So they created the second one, which is the straight tail feather, and that it basically saved on the die. Now, when you look at the difference between those, you'll see that they've shifted. Maybe they used some different lettering. Maybe there was a design element change. And when they did that, maybe the mint director is like, I don't really like that S. That S is not the same. We need to show a change. We're ready for a die reversal shift. So let's do that die reversal shift. And then they change that. They document it accordingly. It also helps to prevent counterfeiting. And so they periodically will change the obverse, the reverse. They'll do very small items, part of security measures, to catch counterfeiters, especially when they're looking at pairing with large agencies like, the CIA, the FBI, NSA, and companies like I've interviewed recently, which is the Anti-Counterfeiting Educational Foundation that also works to keep counterfeits off. They would give them that information. They would be able to identify, locate, look for the source, and then try to get rid of these counterfeit operations. So there's a number of different reasons why they might change the reverse. And Philadelphia, maybe they were putting on, maybe they were making the dies, or maybe they had to do the dies at Denver for some reason, or maybe had to do the dies at San Francisco. They may have had a different structure, right? So they may have had different hubs. And there's a number of reasons of why they would do that. But anyway, I'm not necessarily compromised. Chatter, what's up? Good to see you, bud. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. And guys, if you're enjoying this and you want to know more like this, and again, we're only going to be talking about this particular coin. We're walking through these, give you time to look at them. Again, if you want to look at them through a loop, then definitely let us know. All right, so we come over here, we see this, we can definitely see that that's there. On the display, again, we'll come back over here, we'll show this. We're looking for that connection. Now, when we come back over here, we want to look at that A. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit. And I want to show you the difference between, and give me just a second while I adjust this sharpness. There we go. There's going to be a little bit of difference, and we're going to look at that dollar. Now, you'll see that on this particular one, the die wear inside the A isn't as prominent. The R isn't as prominent. The item there on the L isn't as prominent. Now, you can see it, but it's just not quite as prominent as the other ones. And again, if you want to get good looks at it, it's always wise to rotate your coin and look at it from other areas. You can see that there is some die wear. You can see that there are some issues there, right? But again, you're really looking at that design element. You can tell when you're looking at that leaf that you're not looking at a die break. Okay, so this is actually part of that design element. You can see that goes all the way in there, and then there's that little stretch area on the left-hand side of that A that kind of gives you that defining factor. Okay, so again, when you're looking at these, and again, I'll adjust my little light so that it doesn't glare so much. I do have a light over here. It's actually kind of funny. It's just a paper towel to put over one of the long lights, and I can actually adjust the light with it. It's a really low budget way of doing this. People don't have to spend a bunch of money to put some really nice lighting together. You can do some really kind of basic things. What's important is that you have light in a way that gives you the best possible view. So again, I'm just using a lamp. I don't have crazy lighting. I'm using a $100 scope from Amsco. So you can actually do this kind of stuff and have really good quality imagery and not spend tons of money. All right, so let's go through and check out what's going on. That Nightbot is cool. I think I have to wait until I'm at 4,000 hours to use Nightbot. No, you can actually just install Nightbot. Nightbot is a program. You go to Nightbot, you turn it on, you go into your settings, you set it up, and once it's engaged, then you can turn that on. You actually have to make it a moderator, and then once you make it a moderator, make sure you have the right one. It's very important you have the right one. But once you do that, then you go in and you do your settings, and you can create little settings and designs, and you can have the stuff that our friend Siren would do, where she blows up the chat with emojis. You can have things automatically pop stuff up as people enter commands like, hey, Frosty, it's like, hey, user, right? You can have it kind of answer for you. There's a lot of really cool things that you can do with Nightbot. I prefer more community engagement as I'm able. Sometimes when I'm teaching and trying to teach people what's going on with a particular coin or variety, I'm not looking at the screen. I'm looking at trying to give them the best information. And so sometimes it's good. It would be good to have. I need to play with it a little bit more so that I can make it a little bit more personal experience. And then you can always upgrade and you can pay for it. And then you can rename your Nightbot to Frostybot or whatever you want to be. Just as long as it's recognized by a bot. I think that you have to have some sort of bot identification in your chat, or YouTube will strip them and give you issues. So, yeah, absolutely. If you want to look at that, you can go ahead and reach out to me, T-Bird, and we'll coordinate a time and do a little bit of a live stream. You're a channel member, so you get by default you get 15 minutes a month if you want to come out and hang out and just kind of go through a particular item. I can help you troubleshoot something. I think that's a member perk that people don't get. If I get 3 or 4 people that do the same thing, then we do a small little group chat and we put those things together. So Copper Owl, what's going on? Hope the son's doing okay. Copper Owl's boys in the Navy. Currently having to pick up slack for all the people that have been put on furlough, which has been a royal pain in 700,000 people's lives. But you can't argue. You think the budget would be something the government would be required to be good at. But anyway, let's not go there. I don't want to make this about that. Am I excited to get the ASC with the Navy Privy? I am. I'm looking forward to it. Unfortunately, because I'm engaged in that same time frame, I've got to be careful with that. I've got to see if I can do that. You know where the king kept his army? In his sleevey. There you go. There's a joke for you, Neil. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. I got to balance my budget and make sure that it's actually a thing that I can do. I did the Army Privy. I would hate to not be able to get the Navy Privy, but things are what they are, and it is what it is. But yeah, I'm a Go Navy person. Actually, hold on. Got to break it out every once in a while. Let's do it. Oh yeah, there we go. Maybe I should do this. Nobody would have any question of whether or not I don't have it all rolled out like I should, because it's been stored, but you should have it all rolled out and looking all nice and sharp. And yeah, so anyway, but yeah, I still have mine. That's actually my very first one. I actually kept it. When I needed to buy a new one, I actually sent it to my mom and said, put this away. I want to keep this. So I'm a sentimental fool. I love my stories and stuff like that. Ah, the Dixie Cup. Indeed. Yeah, it's a cool thing. And I actually have, I don't know where it's on my display, my military display case. I actually have my very first ship that I was on, the USS Cushing. I actually have that hat, my very first hat from the Navy. So, tailbacks, hoo-yah! Wogs or pogs, you know, you haven't done that. If you guys don't know what a shellback is, well, that's just too bad. No, a shellback is an initiation that you get when you cross the equator. There's different levels of it. You have a blue nose when you go under the Arctic or the North Pole, which I would love to have been able to do. We were really, really close. I was temporary duty, and we got to go close, but never actually got to complete the task nor the event. So, but I do have my shellback. So, to all you fellow shellbacks out there, booyah! Tiger, had a needle and thread. I did not quite catch that. 5 gifted memberships. Great Scott, IB Thunder, ATS, Raspberry Hedgehog, and Coin Dude. Thanks, Tiger. I appreciate the gifted memberships. It's a lot of fun. All right, well, let's dig back into this coin. We got it down memory lane. Let's get back into what we were talking about. All right, so again, we're looking at this. Now, once you identify that you have a type B, you still want to look at the rest of the coin, right? Dropping a like. Oh, outstanding. Everyone and all, freaking awesome. Shared us out. That's awesome. Thanks for coming in, hanging out, dropping that like. I greatly appreciate you. Tiger Stacker, $5 super chat. That old hat needs a needle and thread. No, that old hat don't need anything. That old hat is exactly the way it should be. Neil Hahn says, did you hear about the accident on base? Ran over a box of popcorn and it killed 2 colonels. I like that. That's funny. I love the dad jokes. What's up with a peeling kind look to it? I'm not sure what you mean, peeling kind look. There's some junk on the coin. Again, there is some debris, probably sure what that is. Kind of almost looks like a tape resin or maybe a glue. Not exactly sure what's going on, but yeah, anyway, the definitive factor here was that, yeah, that old hat's made right, absolutely. But again, you know, Tiger was an Army doc, so, you know, you gotta be careful not to offend the poor soul. Just kidding, brother. I have excellent sewing skills. Yes, and he reaps it all the time. Oh, Great Scott comes in. He's like, hey, thanks for the membership, Tiger. Yeah, he just dropped 5, so outstanding. But anyway, so when you go through this, if you ever want to try to identify whether you have a type A or type B, then look back at this, and then you'll be able to identify how to see this. Now, let's talk some prices. Why am I showing this particular one? Well, somebody asked me. They said, hey, Frosty, I'm interested in doing this. I would like to know a little bit more about this. Well, it's interesting because if you're looking at the 1964 and you want to know the difference between a type 1 and a type 2, you got to make sure you're looking at the right thing when you get on PCGS or when you get onto NGC. And why do I say that? Well, let's share that screen again and come over here and look at this particular coin, which is about AU53. So we'll scroll over, we'll kind of look at this. AU53 shows to be about 11 bucks. Okay, so if you're looking at this coin in a Philadelphia, it's an $11 quarter. That's not bad. And this is in pretty good shape. There's one thing that prevents it from being AU55 or anything but details. I'll show you that here in a little bit. But again, when you're looking at this, it's important. Now, you can see if I go to the right, it'll talk about a 1964 D. We're looking at that D. And again, there is another one where we look at the different types of reverses. But you can look here and you can zoom in and you can see that it has that type 1 reverse. Okay, so you can actually zoom into that. Let me fix these, or the orientation of these pictures real quick. That back over there. There we go. And if I zoom over this, you can see that that division is there, that separation is there. And why is that separation there? Well, because this is a type 1. It's not a type 2. Okay, so you can look at the reverse of these and see, and then come down here and you can look at this and you'll see that again, in that condition, it is a $12 coin. Check Stacker, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us tonight. Now, why does that matter? Well, because if I'm going to be coming over here, and let's go to the PCGS, we're just going to come under here, and we're going to look at the coins for CoinFacts. Whoops, I just want PCGS.com. There we go. Now, I'm going to be looking up a coin, right? So I can come over and I can try to find a coin. Is the, where's the search? There it is. I was zoomed out too wide. So I want to come over here and I want to go to the 1964 type, whoops, type 2. Okay. Is the can, oh, I better be clear. Quarter. And then you see the quarter type B diagnostic pictorial. And then you can come over to the boards. You can look at that. If you want to actually look at the coin, you can come over here. So you see the proof, you see the regular strike, and then you come over here to this one. Now, this is the one where you look and you see that this is connected. Okay, you can see that there, right? We're going to look at states. You're going to see that that is close. This is connected. So is that a die break or what's going on with that? Well, this is actually the type C. So remember that one that I told you that if you have this is close and this is here, this is kind of a rare design variety set. Why does it matter? Why do you want to know that ES and that dollar? Why is it important to identify both of those? Well, because if I come down here to the price values, where are those numbers? Well, we're looking at this coin being AU53, and AU53 is a $70 coin. So again, it's extremely important when you're looking at this. This was listed as a type B reverse, $25 coin. However, now that I've identified that it has both the type 1 and the type 2, which is also called type C, that shouldn't be on this particular coin. It should be on 1965. I know that this is a coin that's worth 70 bucks. It's actually worth much more. So don't just look at one resource. Look at multiples. Understand exactly what you have. Understand the various points that are going to help you identify that. And again, when we look at this coin here, we look at this as NGC. We're looking at the 1964D. You'll see that United States here, it's close, but it's not connected here. There's actually an opening here. If we come down here and we look at the price guide for this, in XF, you see that's $27 coin. That was the coin that was marked as that type B, but that's not a type B because there was a break there. That's a type 1. So make sure you're looking at multiple resources. Make sure you know exactly what's looking at. And when you go to this, again, you have to look at more than one area on a coin to make sure that you are actually seeing what it is that you think you're seeing. Okay, so we'll go through this. Now there's one thing that I want to show you. Order for your time. What's up, Stacking Surfer? How you doing? Yeah, I'm not a blue nose. Unfortunately, the blue nose, it would be something really cool to have gotten. I was close, but I just didn't get the, that final opportunity. So again, look at this. Now you would also want to cultivate multiple resources. Now, what multiple resource might there be? Well, that's Wechsler's. So if you come to Wechsler's, and then you click on Wechsler's, click on the coin and die varieties, you can actually look at a number of different things. Wrong design varieties is one of them. And when you look at the wrong design varieties, it's going to give you some items you've heard about, like the FG on the 8889, okay? The straight versus the little crook in that. This is a big deal. I can do one on this. This is something that would be fun to kind of go over. If you're looking at the wide or narrow AM, you can see really good pictures and you can see some information on what you have to look for. Oh, look at this, type A, type B. Check it out, it's right here. It shows you that one of the key elements that you're gonna have to look for is the E and the S, the gap, okay? Hey, what's up, 9 for 9? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you coming in. When you look at this, again, it's here, and it tells you, it gives you specific information about what to look for. If you're looking for Franklin dollars, you can see that there's a design variety in the Franklin dollars. So have multiple resources open and available to you to look. And so as we look through this, we see the picture here. We see the picture here. We come over to Wechsler's. We see those two pictures. They're the same. I know I'm looking for the right thing. And now you're able to actually make a determination and say, hey, yeah, I am looking at the right item. If this were a cent, if we were looking at pennies in this particular subset of things that we were to, be going over tonight, then I would want to have open copper coins, not just Variety Vista and Wechsler's. I would want to have copper coins because copper coins would give me another level of thing that I would want to be looking at. Now, if I'm looking at Lincoln cents, I normally have copper coins open, and I utilize Variety Vista and Wechsler to validate what I'm finding on copper coins. Sometimes if I don't find it on copper coins, I have to go look at other places. So have multiple resources, and it's just like with my channel. Do I want you to like, subscribe, and follow? Yeah, and if you haven't done so, you can do it. But I don't want to be your sole source of information, folks. This is why I try to have people on the channel that can give you additional information and help you. I don't know everything about coins, but I know where to find it and I know who to talk to. And so that's kind of the resource that I should be for you. Hey, Frosty, I need to find out something about this. How can I find this? Hey, Frosty, I'm trying to get in connection with somebody. I think my coin is counterfeit. Who do we talk to? What resources do you have available? Hey, Frosty, I'm really interested in learning about the type A, type B reverse. Can you do a little short story, or can you do something about it? And it's like, sure, we'll go live. We'll talk about it. We'll share it out. That's the resource that I want to be for you. 9 for 9, I don't know that I have those turned on. I think I turned them off because they broke. Because when I lost my hard drive, there was something with the files and I couldn't figure it out. I don't know if they were tied or whatever. But I've got to get those turned back on. I'll work on getting those turned back on. I know people like to do those, and I haven't had those engaged. Oops. Haven't had those engaged. So anyway, we've been on for about 45 minutes. This is really all I wanted to walk through. I wanted to give you the multiple places that you could look at getting resources. I wanted to share with you this particular coin, talk to you about the type A, type B. I wanted to show you one coin that is listed, and I got this coin from somebody in the community that listed it as a type B, but it's not correct. It's the wrong one. It's actually type C. And so when you look at this, there's differences between them. And again, in this particular case, this coin is worth about $70 in this condition. Now, why did I say that it could have been better? Well, because of that little thing. That little thing is a hit. Now, how do I know it's a hit? Well, you can see that it starts in the upper left-hand corner, and it pushes all that metal down to the right. and then it kind of lifts off of the surface of the coin and struck the inside of the rim. And so that is clear mint damage that happened post mint. That is nothing that happened at the mint. It could have been happened in shipping. It could have happened with another coin. But again, this is something that shows you that this is definitely something that happened from external damage. This isn't anything that has to do with the coin. And so I wouldn't send this in for grading, and I wouldn't send this in to get authenticated. I have enough information, enough resources to authenticate the coin that I have. And if I was to resell this, I wouldn't need to holster this. I wouldn't need to put it in a slab because I have enough resources available that I could show people what it is. I could validate what it is. They could validate it on their own, and I could sell this raw. And I would save all the shipping and the grading fees. Now, if this coin were in mint state 65, mint state 64, we're talking about a significant amount of money for a quarter. So let's get over here and let's pull up why I would send this in if it were mint state 64. Okay, we're going to get over here. We're going to turn this back on. This coin in mint state 64, I hope you can see this here. That's a $400, $350, $400 coin. Okay. So I definitely would be doing something that I would definitely send it in at that point, because if I could authenticate it as such, then this might be something that somebody's looking at building a registry with. And so they might want a PCGS registered 64, 64 plus. If we get over here into the 66 range, you can see that that price jumps up to $1,500. So, you know, again, if you have one of these that's really, really nice, then, you know, there's some serious money in it. So I wanted to give you the information of what to look for, those things that you have. And I've got one other coin here that I want to show you a little bit about, and that is this one. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys want to go through more coins and find something, I like to usually have the coin in hand if I can do it. This one took me a little bit of time because I needed to buy, have shipped, and get the Type C reverse. When I looked at it, they had it on their scope. They listed it as a Type B. I recognized it as a Type C, purchased it from them as a Type B, and then I could show, and it actually helped me compass all three of those potentials. Okay, so I wanted to talk about that. This is a 1922p. You can see this is a Washington, and he's got a little gobbledygook there on the back of his head. Now, this is a die break. This is something that happened on that, but the thing of interest here is on the reverse, and you'll see that there's that die clash there in the back of it. It's pretty strong die clash there on the back of her neck. That is not, she's not a weightlifter, folks. She doesn't have a 18-inch neck. And so that's actually a die clash. So that's what you're looking at there. Okay, that's what you're seeing in that particular one. Dang eyeballs. Oh man, you guys, I sympathize with you. I had rapid onset cataracts in both eyes. And I actually have these glasses. I'm supposed to be wearing these, but I don't do it because of all the reflection. You guys can't see my eyes whenever I look at the screen. So I just take them off. But I have to wear specific glasses to be able to see things. Now, as you guys can tell, this lens is, everything is a little bit bigger because I try to make it bigger, one for the stream, but I have to be able to see it if I'm not wearing my glasses. So I have to be very careful with that. But I had rapid onset cataracts, and so that was something I had to have surgery in both eyes. It took me over a month and then a little bit of recovery time, but I see really good far away, not so good close up. So I have to wear those glasses for close up. All right, so we look at this. You can see the die clash. You can see there's no doubling in this, and again, it's in a little holder, so I bear with me. No stretching of those items, so you won't find a doubled die on this one. But again, you'll see that little junk there. If you flip this coin over and you look at that area That could have been a small die break, die chip. From when the clash occurred, I can't tell you that. I just don't have that information. I'm not able to tell you that that's exactly what caused this particular die break. But you can see this is a pretty extensive chip kind of growing through. It hasn't broke all the way to the rim, so I actually think it's just a large die chip. But you can see that's growing. I would like to find a couple more of these and get the progression. It would be cool to turn this into a progression coin. If you could find it, see how kind of rapidly it expanded. I think that would be a lot of fun. But anyway, you can see that die clash there on the back. That die clash could be the thing that caused that weakness in that die for that to show up. So anyway, that's that. That's all I wanted to show you guys today. Looks clashy. Yeah. But again, that's not really all I wanted to show you today. I wanted to walk you through this. I wanted to take a little bit of time. Wanted to keep it right about at an hour, and we're about that time frame. Let's put a coin up. Actually, you know what? Let's do one more thing, and I want to show you this. This is something, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. Let's set the color or the focus. And there is one more thing that I want to show you. With this, and I'm going to show you another screen here in just a second. Let me get over there. The screen that I'm going to be showing you is a screen capture of my actual software. This is the software that I utilize with the CoinScope that I have sitting here. And again, this CoinScope, I'm going to move it real quick, so bear with me. This CoinScope isn't anything fancy. It's nothing major. Okay, it's just one of these. And as I set it down here, you can see that this color, it doesn't necessarily match this light. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stage that light in its proper position, and then I'm going to kill this light. And you'll see that it's pretty dark. So I need to go through and I need to set and adjust my exposure. I need to make sure that I have stuff going on. So how I would do that is I would come over here and I would turn on the properties. I'm going to walk you through just kind of looking at this really quick. I want to put this up here a little bit out of the way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to camera control. I'm going to turn up my exposure. And you can see that the exposure now is starting to show up. And if I adjust my light, you'll start to see that the coin start to present itself in a really natural, nice looking tone. Once I get that, then I can adjust and work with the brightness, work with any contrast, hue, anything of that nature, and then I'm good to go. Okay, so now when I look at this particular coin, I'm seeing a much better 1998. Now, if I want to produce more light, then I move that little slide that I told you about over, and I can produce more light. Now I get a really good solid image. Make sure this is in focus really quick. I get a really good solid image, and I get a realistic look of a nice zinc penny. Now this is zinc again because we look at 1988, but I can actually kind of go through this and you can see this. But now you're getting more of a realistic view of what the coin color is. So I've been working on looking at those items. If you're looking at the bust of Lincoln, you look at the VDB, you can see that there's reflection. It's coming from, and again, let's get my mouse over here. So you see my hand, right? This area here, this area here, the area on the right side here of this, and then on the B, that light is coming from this direction. Excuse me, the light is coming from this direction. I'm reversed. I didn't realize I was reversed. And so cheap light, paper towel roll, yeah. And again, what's important, and again, all I'm doing, so you guys can see this, is, and I'm going to adjust my microphone, move it away from me. So I'm going to put this down so you can see this. But what I'm doing is I'm actually just sliding. See what it's doing to the coin? I'm actually just sliding this off to the side. And what that's allowing is for a certain amount of light to come through. And I can move that paper towel back and forth depending upon how much light I have. Now I'm going to bring this down. And as I bring this down, you can see that's too much light. So I'm going to shift that paper towel a little bit. And then I can adjust this to where I get a really good image and it doesn't impede or affect anything. And now I just get this really good looking image. And I can really see the true colors of the coin, the details of the coin, and I can look and see. Now, I would still need to rotate the coin a little bit. You can see if I put my finger in the way, I still might need to rotate the coin a little bit to look at something because of the angle of the light. So I still have to keep in mind that that has to happen. And I have one of these. This is something that I got from Mickey Fur. If you guys don't know Mickey Fur, they come in pairs. These are for pennies, nickels, and dimes. There's two of them. This one's made in maple. It's a darker wood. And the premise of this is you can put them together. You can look at all the heads. You can flip the coin over, remove this, and then all you see is the coin. So you can put like 20, 25 coins on here. It's a really nice way of looking at coins. And if you don't want to do that, then you can just simply, put the coin on the desk. Put the coin on the desk and just look at it. Just adjust the focus and stuff accordingly, right? So we'll adjust the focus on this accordingly. And then I can just, use the desk if I want to use the desk. I don't have to use that other piece. And again, then I can still use this toilet paper roll and adjust the lighting accordingly. Let's actually put this in focus because we'll just do some stuff on the desk. Now, again, in this particular case, this light actually causes something. So I'm going to use the microscope light and then obviously turn that down just a little bit because it's too bright. And then again, I can adjust the brightness, turn the brightness down, and I can always go into the properties if I have to change it. And then once again, just turn down that. And that's how I set my settings. So if you guys want to kind of understand more about how I've set this up, then we can do an entire stream. Now I did one not too long ago, which was configurations of like the monitors and how I set my stuff up so that you can see me. If you guys want to go through this kind of stuff, this is something that I do for channel members. And again, if you're a channel member, all you have to do is reach out to me. Once I get about 3 or 4 people together, we have an idea of what we want to look at. We kind of break that down. Then I will do the live stream. If it's a one-on-one, you're looking for something specific, you kind of want to get where the resource is. If you're looking at setting up a microphone or something like that, then you guys get a little bit of time each month. So if you guys aren't tracking that as being members, use it. Okay, it's extremely important. Let's coordinate the time. And again, I try to do more than one person at a time if possible. But again, if it's something very specific to your doing, then we'll work with that accordingly. But in order to do that, what do you have to be? You have to be subscribed, right? And I don't mind gift memberships, right? If you have a gift membership and it's only good for a month and you want to take that and utilize that, by all means, do it. Just know that at that 15-minute mark, I'm like, hey, folks, it's time to go. I got family and life as well, so. Okay. A good light with white to yellow fade, dim up and down. Yeah, so, and again, I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, Frosty, that's so freaking ghetto. But if you look at my hand, and I bring this, right, I'll put my hand here, I can really impact pretty dramatically where the light is here. And it's just a toilet paper towel piece. I mean, you can buy a toilet paper roll for, $2, $3, use it, and then you want to try and figure out what to do with. Now, granted, I have one of these lights, so it's these long cylindrical ones, so it works for me. But if you don't want to do that, then you can set little devices, or you can put something around the bulb, put a piece of paper on there, and then just use the tube to direct the light. You can use it to focus the light. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. But the toilet paper towel thing, I think I learned that from Chuck Daughtry of Copper Coins. He was like, there's a really cheap and effective way. And he has this like $1,000 light and he has a toilet paper tube in the middle of it. That's what he uses. It's a really nice diffuser of the light. So cool stuff. Before I wrap up, it's midnight here. I'm going to be getting to bed here shortly. Are there any questions in chat? Is there anybody that wants to ask a question? Maybe somebody's not sure about subscribing. Go check out the channel, see what's going on. My goal, I'm really pushing hard to get to 10K. That's my next goal. I was like, oh, well, let's celebrate 7,000 or something. And I need to set my goal a little bit more lofty, really trying to do some stuff. I just dropped some stuff out, and I think you guys are going to like it. I got a video coming out here pretty shortly trying to coordinate some stuff. I think it's going to be the most important video of the year. And I don't say that to be sarcastic. If you guys ship coins or you have coins shipped to you, it's going to be pretty big. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of insight. It's so important that the folks at Harlan J. Burke are taking this seriously. It's significant enough that Jack Young, who's a coordinator for identifying counterfeits, says if I wasn't subscribed to your channel, just happened across, and I saw this video, I would definitely subscribe to the channel based off of that. So this is going to be extremely important information. I will make sure that it's in my community page. We'll talk a little bit more about it. It is a video. I'm going to be releasing it as such. I'm going to try and have people to kind of a tie to this, share it out multiple places, because again, it's extremely important. So that should be coming out hopefully next week. I'm trying to get a couple of people to immediately follow it up with a live stream, get some professionals in the field. So I will not say any more. Oh, Frank, I got a VA appointment tomorrow too, so that's why I need to get off the phone or off the stream. I've got one at 9:30, so I've got to get to bed. But I appreciate you. And again, folks, this is the kind of stuff that I'm going to do. So if you're a member and you want to know more about it, you have to be a subscriber. So subscribe to the channel and have an availability to do things like get gifted memberships. And there are perks that come along with it. Utilize those perks. And let's make sure that we do everything we can to work on continuing to not only stay informed, but protect the hobby. All right, let's see. Frosty is the coin king. He just needed his hat fixed. Well, you know what I'm going to do, just for tiger's sake. I'm just going to wear the damn thing. I'll wear my damn hat. All right. Oh, 7:30 in the morning. Yeah, that's early. That's way earlier than mine. Everyone and all, back in the 90s, we used them for apparatus for a 24 distributor. Well, you know what? It's amazing what you can use stuff for. Actually, this looks terrible. I need to put it down a little bit more. There we go. That looks better. Forgot how to wear my hat. Got to get that all folded and set back up. A couple of dryer sheets. Oh, yeah, my son uses a paper towel and dryer sheets for something else. I try to tell him it doesn't work. He doesn't believe me. Frosty's a Cracker Jack king. He just needed his hat fixed. Tiger, you're a nut. I think I read that a time before. Frank McCain, thank you, Frosty. Absolutely. Hope you guys do. What you guys do it well. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. I'm going to try to go live one more time this week. I've got some open time right now, so I might as well utilize it to produce some more content. Oh, Frank McCain, that would be awesome. I'd appreciate that. I love that kind of stuff. Cover is lacking, Frosty. Like, yeah, well, I just need to do some work on this. Actually, what I had planned is my wife is actually going to get it bleached up, get it all nice, and we're going to kind of scrub that thing up, get this all nice and set up, and then I'm going to get it framed, get a little thing put back here. It'll be on my little stand, along with my my petty officer rank and stuff like that stuff. We'll get kind of stuff to set up. I want to honor my brothers and sisters who served, and I want to represent my Navy. So, all right, folks. Well, hey, you guys take care of yourselves. Do me a favor, if you haven't seen it, go look at part 1, part 2 of the ACEF interview. Beth is an amazing person. They do some amazing things. And Marsha's going to send me some Cracker Jack stickers. I'll happily accept them, and I'll put them on my packages and send them out to people. If you guys want to do giveaways, you want to send something and do a giveaway through the channel, you're more than welcome to do so. I don't request it. Normally, it's a 200 like thing. If I get to 200 likes and somebody notifies me of that, I'll give an ounce of silver away. That's something that's my thing. But that is totally up to the viewers. It's not something that I do. So if you guys want to do that, make sure you guys are smashing those likes and we can get that stuff together. Other than that, keep sending in the questions. Keep sending out information, letting us know that you are interested in identifying something or learning how to search something. I need to get Dirty Water Coins up here to look at some coins. I think that's something that we need to do too. He does a lot of coin searches, and I want to promote him and his channel. All right, folks, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being around, for hanging out with me for about an hour or so. And you guys have a wonderful week. And you know what? I will see you guys in the streams.